Howdy all, this is Shane. I just thought I'd post a video, something a little different today. I get asked a lot, actually a lot more in recent months, about how I practice and what I do to get better and to continually improve. First of all, you've got to enjoy playing, I guess. Like, for me, to pick a guitar up isn't a chore. I actually enjoy it. It's kind of like my outlet from all the other stuff that goes on. So for me to pick it up and just play is, it's become second nature. It's sort of like, I guess some people might watch TV or whatever. I don't watch much TV at all. So yeah, I have guitar as a passion, and I play it as an outlet from all the other stuff, and that helps. I mean, if I'm not consumed by it like a lot of people, I actually do other things other than music, and I think that's healthy too. You got to maintain fitness and mental, capacity and so forth as well. So, yeah, balance is really handy. But let's just get back to practice. Well, what would I do to practice guitar? If you're beginning and you're just starting out and you see people play and you're like, wow, how did they get like that? A lot of it is hard work. There's no shortcut. Music doesn't have shortcuts. I got a long way to go to get to where I want to be, but I've achieved a certain amount of skill set by working on it and trying to practice in a way that allows me to get better. And how did I work that out? Well, for me it was pretty simple. It's like anything else you do. You got to put time into it, but you got to start somewhere, and don't expect your fingers are going to move a certain way within the first week or month or year or 2 years. Like, I'm not a fast player. I've kind of accepted that. Some people have quicker fingers than others, but it's not all about speed. Speed's like the least concern for me when I play. I mean, I'd love to be able to rip out 16th notes or faster flawlessly, but my fingers don't allow that. I could work on it, but it's not something that really, it doesn't concern me. I want to make people feel a certain way when I play, or I at least try to do that. And alright, so how do we get better? Pick something very easy along the lines of what you want to learn. For me, I started with like Eric Clapton licks, and I know a lot of people go, oh, Eric, wow, that's hard stuff. It's really not that hard. Some of it is obviously hard, and to capture the feel takes a lot of work. But there's licks you can see him play that are like 2 notes. But it's the way you play those 2 notes that really make the difference, not how fast you can do it, or, missing out on the other things that are going on in those 2 notes, like the timing, the phrasing of it, the execution of it, the intensity of how hard he hits those notes. There's subtleties in this that really you've got to be aware of, or your ear will soon become aware of the more you listen to one thing. I know when I first learned like a Stevie Ray Vaughan lick, I practiced that day in and day out for like 2 days straight. I just played it and played it and played it until it was so in here and my hands could play it automatically. I couldn't play it quick, but I could get the notes out, and that's a good starting point to expanding your library of licks. And licks, also isn't the only thing you should be concerned with. I didn't put enough time into rhythm guitar up until recently, and I feel now like it's getting to a point that it is comfortable for me as a performer. I don't have to just rely on my lead guitar playing anymore. And I'm trying to develop other skill sets like vocals and stage presence and all these other things that come into it. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. But there's always lots of ways you can improve. So where to start? So like I said, pick a lick that you want to learn and apply it to the music you want to play to. So if you're a blues player like me, you might want to pick a Albert King lick or a B.B. King lick or whoever and play it and know it and learn it and just focus on that one lick until it's second nature. But then apply it to different tempos. That's going to be the biggest thing that makes your practice so much better. If you can get onto YouTube and find backing tracks, or you can play a CD and listen to it that way. I I found playing one lick that's real easy over 3 or 4 different tempos of blues is where your practice will actually get better and better and better. So, you know, it's one thing to learn the lick, but it's the feel aspect. Like, try to capture something, develop good vibrato and bends. Make sure your bends are hitting notes. I had a lot of problems with that, and people would pull me up on it. I'm actually really glad that they did, because it's made my bends better in the long run. And I've copped a lot of criticism over the years, and it's been good, you know, like both vocally and guitar playing wise and performance wise as well. Like, all these things, people, if they're honest, they'll tell you what they think, and that can be a demoralizing thing for young players, or it can really motivate them to get better. And you know, I'm one of those kind of guys that I overthink everything, but in the end it's better that somebody says something, because it will make you a better player and a better musician. So yeah, like I said, practice over different tempos, and then once you're comfortable doing that and you can sort of recall the notes in your head as well as in your hand, and you can play the same lick in different positions over different keys, then maybe it's time to pick a different one. So yeah, I play one lick over a shuffle, play one lick over a slow blues, make it work, make it fit, adjust the notes to suit the tempo, adjust your vibrato, which is an important thing. Adjust it to suit the song. You know, no one wants to see a flying hand on a slow blues all the time. You want to play with subtlety. You want to be direct with what you're doing. So play confidently, and that's a big thing that will carry any of your live performances off to the crowd. If you could be playing something simple, pentatonic, nothing flash, technically, but you can still make it sound really good. And if you can capture people's ear just by playing, you know, the 5 notes in the pentatonic, you've done something really special, and that's really cool. You know, I take my hat off to the people that don't necessarily follow all the technical stuff, but they play with something that comes from here, and that's where it's at. So feel the notes you play, practice the music you want to actually play. Don't learn, you know, like progressive metal or whatever, and then want to be a jazz guy. Like, don't waste your time. Practice the music that you want to learn first, and it doesn't become a chore. And you know, I'm self-taught. I didn't go through books. I didn't go through any of that stuff. I did have a couple of instructional videos which really helped, and the rest of the stuff I learned from watching other people play, and also asking questions too. Like, some guitar players are pretty, what's the word? Sort of like they close the door to showing people something that they did, because, you know, that, I guess in their mind they think, oh, someone's going to copy what they did, even though they probably ripped it off like somebody else down the line. I just find most great guitar players are very nice people, and if they're not, then you probably pick that up just by watching them play. So yeah, I reckon ask questions and watch similar styles of music as well, and listen to similar styles of music, you know, on CD or YouTube or whatever, because a lot of the jazz stuff will work in blues, a lot of the blues stuff will work in jazz, and it's all, you know, it's all music. So basically try to find the sounds you like out of different styles and try to make something out of that. Like, lately I've just to mix it up, I've been learning George Benson licks. Like, I never thought I'd ever be doing that, but that guy comes seriously, like, he's just unbelievable. I'm picking like the easiest George Benson licks too. Like, these are very, very easy licks in terms of what he's capable of, which suits me fine, because I'm coming from a blues background. I don't hear the jazz in my head, but I'm starting to understand, I'm starting to connect some dots now that were never there. And how did I do that? I spent 2 to 3 days on one lick until I could play it over different tempos, and that was a small lick, but it, you know, it's something. So I have a plan to learn at least one new jazz lick or country lick every month or whatever, and then move on to something else. But the trick is, when you learn a new lick, you have to apply it to what you're playing. I'm not saying if it's a major lick, use it over a minor song or whatever, but I'm saying like the stuff you learn at home, get it out from home and use it when you play. Or, at least if you're at home, play it over a backing track and get some practice. Best thing to do for practice, play to CDs, backing tracks, all that stuff. Get your timing right. Timing is the king. If you know and hear where you're at, regardless of if there's lyrics or not over the song, or if there's vocals, that's when you know your timing's getting good. I can play like a shuffle groove on guitar and then play a lead for 8 bars and know exactly where I am and come back in and bang. Or, a bar of rhythm, bit of lead, bar of rhythm, whatever. So you got to practice in a way that makes sense. If you're just sort of noodling around over a song, over the lyrics and all of that, you'll probably end up doing that when you go to a jam and probably step on some people's toes. So I'd probably suggest leaving space. If I can suggest anything, is to leave space in music, because that's where I think you capture people's ear, just not by going nuts all the time. So, all of the great blues players had space. One guy once told me, play like you got something to say, not like you got something to prove. And if you can come across as that sort of person, people will want to work with you. They'll appreciate what you do, and they probably won't feel like a competitive nature with you either. I'm working with some of the best musicians I've ever worked with, and they're actually really enjoying playing with me. And like my other guitar player, Rick, could run circles around anybody, but I don't feel that from him when he's playing. He's playing what he wants to play, and he does it exceptionally well. And I appreciate what he does, and even though I'm completely different, I do what I do, and I do it without any hint of competition. Not like, so don't make it a competition to see how fast you can play or outplay the other guy. Play the way you want to play, and play the way that you intend for it to come out, without resorting to petty things. So I guess if you know in here what you want to do, follow that. Don't just play a lick because someone else played a lick or whatever. So play honestly and play with integrity, and do your own thing, and try not to succumb to basically make it a competition on stage with another guitar player, because no one really wants to see that. It's great when two players actually work together for a better goal, but you'll find a lot of guitar players have, some of them have attitude problems, and like they've got something to prove, which to me just spells wanker. My favourite players that I know, none of them have egos, and the ones that do, I don't work with, and I don't want them working with me. I've made it pretty clear who I enjoy working with and who I don't. Yeah, I couldn't ask for better guys in my band at the moment, because it's friends before music, and our music comes out like 4 guys having a blast, so yeah, that's my 2 cents. So hopefully that makes some sense on what to do and how to do it, and what I think about when I practice.